Intention is not simply a thought. It is not a casual wish or a fleeting desire that drifts through the mind. Intention is a force, a direction, a silent command that life responds to whether you realize it or not. Every moment, you are broadcasting an intention through the way you think, the way you speak, and the way you act. The book reminds us that the reason many people do not manifest what they want is because they never truly set their intention with clarity. They confuse wanting with deciding. Wanting is passive. It carries hesitation. It carries doubt. It waits for conditions to change. Deciding is active. It carries certainty. It carries commitment. It declares that no matter what unfolds, you are moving in that direction. Life listens to this difference. Imagine a ship on the ocean. A wish is like a sail left loose in the wind, pulled in whichever direction the current takes it. But an intention is the hand on the wheel, steady and clear, pointing toward a chosen horizon. With time, even in storms, the ship moves closer to where it was meant to go. The hidden power of intention lies in this focus. When you set an intention, you are not only telling yourself where to go, you are aligning unseen forces to meet you there. Opportunities you would have overlooked begin to stand out. People who can help you appear at the right time. Obstacles that once seemed heavy begin to move aside because your energy is no longer scattered. It is concentrated. This is why the book emphasizes clarity, because an unclear intention produces unclear results. If you say you want success but secretly fear responsibility, your intention is divided. If you say you want love but carry the belief that you are unworthy, your intention is blocked. The universe is not confused, you are. And so it mirrors that confusion back to you. But when you become clear, when your inner dialogue and your actions agree, the effect is undeniable. This is not about forcing reality. It is about aligning yourself so fully with what you intend that reality has no choice but to respond. The hidden power is that life is always listening, not to your words alone, but to the vibration behind them. You can tell yourself you want freedom, but if your choices are guided by fear, your true intention is safety, and safety is what life will give you. You can tell yourself you want abundance, but if your actions show scarcity, scarcity is what life will reinforce. The book teaches that to manifest, you must see intention not as something you set once, but as something you live each day. It is the thread that runs through your thinking, your speaking, your doing. And when you live from this thread, consistently, without contradiction, intention becomes not just a private thought in your mind, but a signal powerful enough to shape the world around you. Many people mistake manifestation for wishful thinking. They believe that repeating words in the mind or imagining an outcome is enough to bring it into reality. But thought without action is like planting a seed and never giving it water or sunlight. The seed may contain potential, but it will never grow because it has been abandoned in the soil. Alignment of thought and action is what makes manifestation real. When your mind envisions a goal, but your daily actions contradict that vision, the energy is divided, and divided energy has no strength. You may affirm abundance in the morning, but spend the day speaking of lack, worrying about money, and acting as if nothing will change. You may visualize health, but continue living in habits that destroy your body. You may dream of freedom, but repeatedly choose patterns that keep you bound. This is why so many people feel frustrated when they try to manifest. Their thoughts are speaking one language, but their actions are speaking another, and the universe listens to both. The book explains that manifestation becomes powerful only when your actions are the physical extension of your intentions. To align thought and action is to become a single force, moving in one direction without contradiction. This does not mean you must take massive steps every day, but it means every small step must point toward your vision. If your thought says, "I am worthy of abundance," then your action must reflect that worthiness by how you carry yourself, how you make choices, how you treat opportunities. If your thought says, "I am becoming strong and healthy," then your action must align with that belief. Not only in the gym or at the table, but in how you rest, how you breathe, how you prioritize your well-being. This alignment creates momentum. Each action, no matter how small, reinforces the thought behind it, and together they form an unbreakable signal. Life responds not to empty words, but to consistency, to evidence that you truly mean what you claim to want. Alignment also means removing habits that contradict your intention. It is not enough to add new actions. You must also release the ones that pull you away from your vision. A person who continues to surround themselves with negativity while affirming positivity is not aligned. A person who clings to self-doubt while imagining success is not aligned. When thought and action meet, doubt has less space to grow because you are proving to yourself again and again that you are moving forward. This proof builds confidence, and confidence strengthens manifestation. It is not about forcing outcomes, but about living in a way that makes the outcome inevitable. Alignment transforms dreams from distant possibilities into natural extensions of who you are becoming. And when who you are, what you think, and what you do are in harmony, manifestation stops being something you wait for. Becomes something you embody. Limiting beliefs are the silent walls that hold people back more than any external obstacle ever could. They are rarely questioned because they often disguise themselves as truth. A person who has tried and failed may begin to believe that success is for others, but not for them. A person who has been hurt in love may begin to believe that deep connection will never be possible. A person who has grown up in scarcity may believe that abundance belongs only to the fortunate. These beliefs settle quietly in the mind and then act as invisible boundaries, shaping choices, reactions, and expectations. The book reminds us that what you believe is what you allow yourself to see, and what you see determines what you can receive. If you carry the belief that opportunities do not exist for you, you will overlook them even when they appear right in front of you. If you believe you are unworthy of love or success, you will unconsciously sabotage the very things you desire most because you will feel uncomfortable holding something you do not think you deserve. To break limiting beliefs, you must first recognize them, and this requires honesty. The way you speak about yourself, the excuses you make, the fears you repeat, these are windows into the beliefs running quietly beneath the surface. Once you see them, you begin to understand that they are not truth, but conditioning. Stories formed from past experiences or inherited from others who were also trapped in their own limitations. Recognizing this is powerful because it separates you from the belief. You are not your belief. You are the one who can choose it or release it. The book emphasizes that the fastest way to dissolve a limiting belief is to challenge it with action. If you believe you are not capable, take one small action that proves you are. If you believe opportunities do not exist, begin moving in the direction of your dream and watch how doors open when you knock. Every time you act against a limiting belief, you weaken its grip. Every time you prove it wrong, you rewrite the story it has held over you. This is not an instant process. The beliefs were built over years, sometimes decades, but they do not have the strength you imagine. They survive only because they remain unchallenged. Once the light of awareness and the force of action meet them, they begin to crumble. And when they crumble, the horizon of your life expands. You no longer move inside a cage. You could not see you move freely in open space. Breaking limiting beliefs is not about pretending difficulties do not exist. It is about refusing to let your mind become the prison that holds you. And when those walls fall, you discover that the life you wanted was never far away, was simply waiting for you to believe that you could step into it. Life moves in cycles. Just as the seasons turn, the tides rise and fall, and the breath flows in and out. There is a natural rhythm to energy. Giving and receiving are two sides of this rhythm, and when they are in balance, manifestation becomes effortless. Yet many people struggle because they live only on one side of the cycle. Some give endlessly but feel uncomfortable receiving, as though they are unworthy of the very gifts they offer to others. Others desire to receive but hold back their giving, waiting to gain before they contribute. Both creates imbalance, and imbalance blocks the natural flow of abundance. The book explains that true manifestation requires harmony between these two forces. To give is to release energy outward, to share, to invest, to offer without fear of loss. To receive is to allow energy inward, to accept, to embrace, to recognize that you are worthy of what flows back to you. Many believe giving is superior, but if you only give and never receive, you cut off half of the cycle, just as inhaling without exhaling is impossible. So is giving without receiving. To refuse to receive is not humility, is resistance, and resistance blocks the flow of life. Likewise, to demand receiving without giving creates emptiness. You may accumulate things, but without contribution, they bring no fulfillment, because the cycle remains incomplete. The hidden teaching is that giving and receiving are not separate acts, but one continuous movement, like the current of a river. When you give with sincerity, without expectation, you create space within yourself, and life fills that space with new energy. When you receive with gratitude, you empower yourself to give again, and the cycle strengthens. This is why gratitude is central to manifestation. It transforms receiving into fuel for further giving, and giving into a magnet for further receiving. The book emphasizes that even your thoughts and emotions participate in this cycle. When you give joy, kindness, or encouragement, you set vibrations into the world that return to you multiplied. When you receive kindness without guilt or suspicion, you strengthen the cycle, showing life that you are open to its abundance. To manifest fully, you must live in this rhythm consciously. If you want love, you must give love freely while being open to receive it without fear. If you want success, you must contribute your gifts and allow yourself to accept recognition and opportunity without shrinking away. If you want abundance, you must invest, share, and circulate while welcoming prosperity without shame. Giving and receiving are not transactions, they are expressions of trust in the flow of life. And when you trust, when you participate fully on both sides, you no longer chase manifestation. You become the current itself, moving in harmony with the universal rhythm, and everything you need flows to you as naturally as the breath that enters and leaves your body. One of the greatest obstacles to manifestation is impatience. When people set an intention, they often expect immediate results, forgetting that life unfolds in its own rhythm. A seed does not become a tree overnight, yet its growth is certain if the conditions are right. Trusting the process of life means learning to live in that certainty without forcing the timeline. It means understanding that the universe is not denying you what you desire, is preparing you to receive it fully. Often, the delay is not punishment but protection, giving you the strength, wisdom, or clarity you will need to hold what you have asked for. But when impatience takes over, people sabotage the process. They plant a seed and then dig it up again and again, doubting if it is growing. They give energy to fear and disappointment rather than to trust, and in doing so, they weaken the very manifestation they long for. The book teaches that trust is not passive. It is active faith. It is aligning your daily actions with your vision while releasing the need to control how or when it arrives. It is moving forward steadily, knowing that unseen forces are arranging circumstances beyond your awareness. This trust does not mean sitting still, and waiting. It means walking the path with confidence, even when the destination has not yet come into sight. Trust also requires letting go of the obsession with outcomes. If you cling too tightly to how your dream must appear, you may miss the better form that life is offering you. Sometimes the manifestation is not what you expected, but it holds exactly what your soul needed. Trusting the process means remaining open, flexible, and receptive, allowing life to surprise you with its wisdom. Doubt is natural, but it does not have to control you. When doubt arises, you return to trust by remembering your past. Think of the moments when things seemed uncertain, and yet, somehow, you were carried through. Think of the struggles that eventually revealed themselves as lessons, shaping the strength you carry now. Life has already proven that it can guide you. You are living proof of it. Trusting the process also means trusting yourself. You must believe that you are capable of handling what comes, that you can adapt, that you can learn, that you can rise. Without self-trust, even the greatest opportunities will slip away because you will not believe you are ready. But when you trust both life and yourself, a deep calm replaces anxiety. You no longer rush, you no longer force, you no longer doubt. You live with a quiet confidence that what is meant for you cannot miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. This calm presence allows you to manifest more effectively than worry ever could. Because when you trust the process of life, you move in harmony with it, and life, in return, moves in harmony with you. The ultimate teaching is that manifestation is not about waiting for something to arrive in the future, but about becoming it in the present moment. When you live as the manifestation, you are no longer separated from your desire. You embody it, and life has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Too often, people treat manifestation as a distant goal, imagining that one day they will finally be happy, abundant, or fulfilled when their vision comes true. But this way of thinking only reinforces separation, keeping the dream always one step away. The book explains that the most powerful shift occurs when you begin to act, think, and feel as though the life you want is already yours. If you seek love, you cultivate the qualities of love within yourself, treating others with compassion and treating yourself with respect. If you seek abundance, you live with the mindset of abundance, not in reckless spending, but in trust, generosity, and openness to opportunities. If you seek peace, you begin to live in peace now, making choices that align with calm rather than chaos. Living as the manifestation does not mean pretending or forcing it, means aligning your inner state with the reality you wish to experience, until the outer world has no option but to catch up. This is why identity is central to manifestation. If you identify as someone who is always lacking, struggling, or unworthy, your actions will mirror that identity, and your reality will follow. But if you shift your identity to that of someone who is abundant, capable, and deserving, every action begins to flow from that place, and your reality transforms accordingly. Identity shapes behavior, behavior shapes reality, and reality confirms identity. The cycle is complete, and you are in control of where it begins. Living as the manifestation also requires consistency. You cannot live in abundance one moment, and then fall back into fear the next, expecting results. The universe responds to the energy you sustain, not the energy you visit occasionally. This is why rituals, practices, and mindful habits are so important. They anchor you in the vibration of your desired reality, no matter what temporary challenges may arise. It is not about perfection, it is about persistence. Each time you return to the state of being your manifestation, you strengthen it until it becomes natural. At that point, manifestation ceases to feel like effort. It feels like alignment, like breathing, like the most natural thing in the world. You begin to notice synchronicities, doors opening, people appearing, opportunities unfolding, not because something magical has suddenly started, but because you have tuned yourself to the frequency where these things were always present. When you live as the manifestation, you are no longer waiting for the future to bring you what you want. You are living it now, breathing it now, embodying it now. And when you live it fully, the gap between vision and reality disappears, and you realize that you have already arrived. Everything we have explored leads back to one truth. Manifestation is not a distant miracle. It is a way of living. The power of belief, the discipline of intention, the courage to clear inner barriers, the balance of giving and receiving, the trust in life's rhythm, and the decision to embody your vision, all of these are not separate steps, but threads of one tapestry. They form a path that is both simple and profound, because it asks not for something outside of you, but for the awakening of what has always been within you. The book that has touched thousands of lives reminds us that transformation begins the moment you claim responsibility for the energy you hold, the thoughts you nurture, and the actions you take. Obstacles are not walls to stop you. They are doors to test whether you are ready to step into a new level of being. Doubts are not enemies. They are reminders that trust must be stronger than fear. And the desires in your heart are not accidents. They are signals of what life intends for you, if only you align yourself with them. As you leave these teachings, remember that your life is not waiting to begin someday. It is unfolding here and now. You are not separate from abundance, peace, or fulfillment. You are their source. And when you recognize this, you no longer chase after your dreams. You live them, you breathe them, you become them. So walk forward with certainty. Live as though the reality you seek is already within your grasp, because it is. Carry the calmness of trust, the strength of intention, the generosity of giving, and the openness of receiving. Let your life be the proof that manifestation is not just an idea, but a lived experience. And when you do, you will no longer ask when your dream will arrive. You will realize that you have been walking in it all along.